Can you go anywhere and find an endeavor in society where we've come to accept and tolerate an adult, and even kids, treating another adult the way we allow spectators, coaches, and players to treat a high school game official? Can you? No one has the right to abuse game officials. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pioneer men's varsity basketball is live and on the air. We are live from the main gym at Pioneer, where it is Pioneer men's varsity basketball hosting the Saline Hornets, and talking a little bit about both of these teams. If we take a look at Pioneer's schedule thus far, they opened up with a game at Skyline. That was a 40-34 win by Skyline. That was back on 2/17. Then they played Monroe back on last Friday, and that was a win, 46-39. Then they had a game at Ypsilanti Lincoln the next evening over at the home of the Rail Splitters on Saturday evening, and that was a 49-40 loss. So taking a look, they now are playing Saline, and then the next game is at Bedford. That is going to be on Friday at the Bedford Gym. We will not be able to broadcast that because we will be broadcasting the women's game here and the hockey game. But Bedford, to the best of my knowledge, does allow 2 people per athlete, so certainly go cheer on the team. That should be a fantastic game. But in front of us, so 1 and 2 on the season is Pioneer. Talking about the Saline Hornets, they are 2 and 1 overall. and 1-1 in league. They started off with a loss at Ypsilanti Lincoln that on the 17th. That was a 47-41 loss. Then they played Temperance Bedford that on the Friday the 19th, 7 p.m. game. That was a 56-49 win. And then they played last Saturday a afternoon game versus Carlton Airport. That was a 75-28 win. Saline really put it on them. The next game is versus Monroe. That is going to be tomorrow for this Saline team. So they're playing back-to-back. They'll be tomorrow evening versus Monroe. If we look at the SEC standings as we are counting down, just over 2 minutes left to go here before we hop into action. In the red division, Skyline and Lincoln both lead the way, 2-0 so far. Huron is 1-0, they're in third place. Saline 2-1 in fourth place. Bedford 1-2. And then followed up by Pioneer 1-1. Ypsilanti is 0-1 at this point, and Monroe 0-4 in the SEC. Over on the white division, just in case you're curious, Pinckney is 2-0 on the season. Dexter 3-1. Tecumseh 1-0. Chelsea 2-1. Jackson 0-2, and Adrian 0-3. So we are just about to get ready as the final warm-ups are happening here. We'll play a few messages from the MHSAA, and then we will be back for the starting tip. You're listening to Pioneer Men's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Here are 5 good reasons for high school multi-sport participation. Fewer overuse injuries, less opportunity for emotional burnout, exposure to different kids and coaches, exposure to different roles, and learning to compete better. Being a multi-sport participant can help a kid become a more well-rounded person. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
If you're a recent high school or college graduate and still have a passion for the games you played in school, still remember the thrill of putting on the uniform, why don't you help us out and become a registered high school game official? Get out there and give something back to our kids. Visit the MHSA website for more information. There's help wanted, just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As Michael, the public address announcer, starting to get us started here. Now, to honor America, the playing of the national anthem. As 8 minutes up on the clock, getting right for the starting lineups here. As they start with Saline.
Introducing starter number 0, Cooper Fairman.
So Fairman starting for Saline. Burns comes out for Pioneers, so both number 0s being announced.
For Saline, number 11, Shaden Pickett.
Pickett being announced for Saline. Sampson being announced for Pioneer.
For the Hornets, number 21, Derek Caldwell.
Caldwell being announced for Saline. He comes out.
Number 11, Will Fashera.
As being announced, Fushera for Pioneer.
Number 22, Anthony Ferrari.
Ferrari being announced for Saline.
For the Pioneers, number 22, Josiah Shackle.
And being announced for Pioneer is Shafsma.
Tyler Tebow.
And then T-Bull coming out for Saline.
Number 23, Aiden.
And for Pioneer, Lee being announced. Those are your starting lineups as we get ready for the opening tip. Thank you very much for supporting these teams and watching where you can. Thank you so very, very much. And announcing of the officials. You don't have to agree with every call, but we cannot have a game without them. So much appreciated to all of the officials. As Pickett inbound right in front of us. As he gets that over, pulled up, heading the other direction is Caldwell, coming down the far sideline, over center. Gets it over in along the far boards. That's sent up. T-Bull has it, now back. Caldwell gets it over. Gets it back to Pickett. Pickett trying to get it in, that knocked away. Coming up, Burns trying to steal it away. Now heading the other direction, Fairman comes up, dumps it off. As spinning with it. Pulling it up is Ferrari. Ferrari into the lane. Not able to hit it, but there is a foul called. That is going to be on Burns. That will be his first. Ferrari was shooting at the time, so he'll go to the line. First one is good. 1-0, the lead for Saline. Second one up, rims around and down, 2-0 the lead at 7:31. Pioneer with it. Lee brings the ball over center court. Lee comes up to the far wing. Now dribbles over to the free throw line, backs up, back behind the arc. Fushera has it. Fushera dribbles to his right, top of the key. Fushera dumps it off over to Burns. Burns puts it into the far corner. Lee trying to put it up. That over to Fushera, who puts it in. Pioneer ties it up 2-2 with 7:05 left to go. Saline brings the ball up. As coming ahead and bringing it in is Caldwell. Over to Fairman. Fairman being watched by Lee. As that's dumped over, brought over to Ferrari. Ferrari. And up into the lane, up and good. That's Saline 4, Pioneer 2, 6:44 left to go. Lee quickly brings it ahead for Pioneer. Burns has it on the near wing, feeds it underneath. As there's a shot put up and would not fall for Shafsma. Burns has it, Lee puts it up, and that rims off the back of the rim. Out of bounds, and that will go over to Saline. Stays Saline 4, Pioneer 2, 6:25 left to go here. As bringing it in, Pickett inbounds it, bringing up Caldwell, being watched by Lee. Caldwell gets over center court. Caldwell, bounce pass, moves it over to Ferrari. Ferrari over on the near wing, trying to get it. T-Bull back to Ferrari in the near corner. Ferrari working his way around the wing. There's Fairman for three. That off the front of the rim. Excellent rebound by Sampson. Sampson comes up the court. That ball was tipped, but wisely moves it over. Lee puts it to Burns into the near corner. Trying to get to a streaking Shafsma was coming in, and a foul called. That foul is going to be on Pickett. That will be his first. One foul on each team. Lee to inbound, and 5 seconds called. That's going to be a turnover over to Saline. Saline with the 4-2 lead on Pioneer, 5:52 left to go, as bringing it up is Caldwell for Saline. Lee watching him again. Caldwell gets over center, coming down the far side of the court. Caldwell dribbles into the near side, trying to get into the paint, puts it up. That hits the side of the rim and goes down. 6-2 the lead for Saline. Lee quickly brings it up for Pioneer. Lee dribbles, now steps back on the other side of the arc. Over to Fischera. Fischera, top of the key. Moves it over on the far side, back to Lee. Lee pivoting around. Now heads back, top of the key. Over to Fischera on the near wing. Fischera dribbles into the paint, puts up a hook. That just off the glass and short, but Fischera gets the rebound, puts it up, puts it in. Or excuse me, that was, yeah. They all of a sudden they pumped up the Saline score, so that confused me. But it is Saline 6, Pioneer 4. As with it, Thibault being covered by Shaftsma. That shot goes up and in, so that will be Saline 8, Pioneer 4. 4:44 left to go here in the first. As Lee for Pioneer brings it up, gets into the paint, puts it up, puts it in off the glass with a little English. That's a 2-point lead for Saline, as that's being brought up by Caldwell. Caldwell drops it off to Pickett. Pickett brings it over center court. Now over on the far side, Caldwell has it, working his way around the arc, into Pickett, into the near corner for three. That one off the front of the rim, pulled down by Sampson. Sampson trying to avoid some pressure, as Fairman trying to steal it away. As now that's brought up. An excellent job by Fischera. Coming in, trying to put it up was Shaftsma, but whistle. Ferrari gets his first foul. That's 2 on Saline, 1 on Pioneer. Lee to inbound, baseline left. As Lee gets it in, then underneath to Sampson. Sampson puts it up, puts it in to tie it at 8 apiece at 3:55 left to go. Brought up by Pickett for Saline. Comes over center. Outside the arc, Ferrari working his way around. Ferrari gets it over, putting it in. Fairman into the paint, kicks it into the near corner. That shot put up and in by Thibault. So that's 11 points for Saline, 8 for Pioneer, 3:29 left to go. As Lee has it for Pioneer in the backcourt. Moves it over on the near side to Fischera. Over to Burns. Back in the near corner to Lee. Lee skies it into the paint. That's stolen away. Here comes Saline. As Caldwell coming down, he's got tripped up as a few legs got tangled into the paint. As Condi is going to get that foul. 2 fouls apiece. As entering baseline right is Saline. That on the near wing as Fairman has it. Fairman into paint, whistle as there was a horn sounded and little confusion. They'll get that sorted out. As it is 11 points for Saline, 8 points for Pioneer, as the officials getting the time right, getting the clock set just the way they need that. Never an easy job to make all that happen. So again, looks like the officials talking things over. Now all three of them get together to try and get things figured out and try and figure out exactly what time it was supposed to be at. Didn't think it was on Condi. So Fischera got the foul. .314 up on the clock, getting ready to go as that's inbounded. Gathered by Fairman. Fairman puts it over along the far side. Dribbling underneath the paint. Now that back for Pickett. Pickett for three. That bounces off the back of the rim. Gathering it in is Fischera. Fischera over center. Fischera double team. That ball knocked away, but he gets it back wisely. Puts it underneath. Now that pulled away. Steal by Saline. Ahead to Pickett. Pioneer quickly gets back. It's 11 points for Saline. 8 for Pioneer. as Caldwell gets it over to Fairman. Fairman dribbles to his right, passes underneath. That put up would not fall as that went off for Koch. And here comes Pioneer coming the other direction. Lee with it, top of the key. Lee dribbles to his right, gets it to DeWolf. DeWolf on the far wing. DeWolf has that stolen away, knocked away by Pickett. Pickett into the paint. Pickett puts it up and slams it down. So that makes it 13 points for Saline, 8 for Pioneer, 2:19 left to go. As Lee has it on the near wing, Lee being closely guarded, moves it over to DeWolf. DeWolf looks for a place to go with it, now bounces it back to Lee. Lee into the paint, Lee puts it up, puts it in, and they're going to call a charge. So Lee's valiant drive all for naught. That will be... yeah, it'll be a foul on Lee. That's the third foul for Pioneer, 2 for Saline. Saline with the 13-8 lead, 2:05 left to go here in the first. Pickett inbound, baseline left. As Caldwell bringing it up. Lee watching Caldwell. Pickett to his right, hands it off to Pickett. Pickett working his way around the arc, then gets it over to Tebow, quickly underneath, trying to put that up. That bounces off. Excellent job pulling that away is Turman, and here comes Lee. Pioneer with the ball, Lee in the backcourt. Lee dribbles to his left, being watched by Pickett. Lee now works his way onto the far wing. Lee gets it over on the near side, trying to get it underneath to Burns. Burns gets it over to, trying to make a move, getting it over to Turman, and that shot was not good, pulling it away. Coming down, Fairman. Fairman underneath, that put up, and that put in by Tebow. 15-16 left to go here, or 11-15 left to... I'm going to try that again. 1:15 is what I was trying to say left to go. Lee fires it over on the far side to Klein. Klein on the far wing. That moving over to Burns. Burns in the backcourt, dribbles to his right. Burns switches his dribble, gets the free throw line, spins with it. That's stolen away. Taken away by Koch. Saline quickly up the other way. Caldwell moves it over to Fairman. Fairman works his way around the arc. Fairman steps back into the backcourt. Now dribbles to his right, trying to put it underneath. Battle for it. That put up and knocked. They blew the whistle on a foul, as that was Koch. He goes to the line, shooting 2, 39.7 seconds left to go. Saline 15, Pioneer 8. It's Koch. Puts it up, puts it in. First one is good. One more shot coming for Koch. Saline with the 8-point lead. As Condi comes in for Pioneer. Also coming in for Shara. Second shot coming for Koch. Koch puts it up. That bounces off the front, the back, and finally falls down. That'll be 17 for Saline, 8 for Pioneer. Burns has it. Burns in the backcourt. Burns dribbles to the legs. Now puts it right at the foul line for Turman. Turman gets it back to Burns. Burns dribbles, top of the key. Burns moves it underneath now over to Fushera. Fushera trying to get into the lane. That knocked away. Quick hands by Pickett. Then Burns tries to return the favor. That collected. Fired in by Tebow. That off of the iron. Burns has it. Burns for Pioneer heading up the other direction. 10 seconds left to go here in the first. Burns dribbles coming up. Top of the key. Burns comes over on the far wing. Now takes the long 2-point shot. Rattles in as it hit every piece of the rim and then down. That will make it 10 for Pioneer, 17 for Saline. So Saline with the 7-point lead at the end of one. We'll play a quick message from the MHSAA. We will be back with your second quarter. You are listening to Pioneer Men's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted. Just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Well, it's always a big game when these two close schools get together and play, and it's always an intense game between Pioneer and Saline in every single sport I've had the privilege to witness, and this no different. Both teams playing hard. Saline with the edge early, 17-10, 8 minutes up on the clock for the second. As Turman comes in to inbound the ball. Right in front of us, that inbounded over to Lee. Lee brings it over center court. Lee dribbles to his left. Now works his way around the court. Comes back trying to avoid some pressure. That tipped away and out of bounds it goes, as that'll be off of LaRusso. It'll go right back Pioneer ball as LaRusso batted it away. He dove for it, tried to get to it, but could not as Turman inbounds back to Lee for Pioneer. Lee over center. Lee looks to his right, now his left. Lee moves it over to Fischera on the far wing. That back, getting it over, is Conde. Conde skies it over on the far side to Sampson. Sampson moves it over in along the near boards. That put up Fischera. That was Saline got a hand on that, so that fell short. Picked up and heading the other direction is Ferrari. Ferrari moves it over to Caldwell. Caldwell in the backfield, Lee watching him. That kicked over to Pickett on the far wing. Pickett works his way around the arc. Pickett handing it off to Caldwell. Caldwell back over on the near side as that is LaRusso with it. Now coming in, Ferrari into the paint, double team, kicks it out onto the arc. There's a long two-pointer trying to pull that down. Here comes Lee with it. Good rebound by Pioneer. Lee feeding it ahead. That put up by Turman. Just a little hard off the glass. Came to the near side. Fischera trying to knock it away from Pickett. Two number 11s battling. And it is still Saline 17. Pioneer 10. Fischera gets hit with the foul. That is his second foul, according to my sheet anyway. As that is 5 fouls for Pioneer, 2 for Saline, 6:46 left to go here in the second. As Saline inbounds baseline left, Caldwell comes up over center. Caldwell coming down the far side, hands it off to Fairman. Fairman skies it over on the near side. Trying to bring that in was LaRusso. Gets it back to Ferrari. Ferrari underneath the Pickett. And out of bounds it goes. That will be Pioneer ball. As Turman comes to inbound it. Schaafsma runs down. Now Lee bringing it over center court. Looking to set up the play. Lee dribbles to his right, moves it over to Burns. Burns on the far wing. Burns gets it to Turman. Turman! The shot from just outside the free throw line. And that hauled in and coming the other direction by Fairman. Saline has it. Fairman sends it over. There's Pickett for 3. That off the rim. Collected by Lee. Here comes Pioneer with it. As Lee over center court. Lee moves it onto the near wing. Gets it over to Burns. Burns, top of the key, trying to move it underneath. That put up and put in by Turman off the glass. Nice post move. That makes it Saline 17, Pioneer 12. 5:45 left to go. As Caldwell brings it up. Caldwell fires it over to Pickett. Pickett on the far wing. Gets it over to Ferrari, then back to Pickett. Pickett works his way to the free throw line. Now gets it back over on the far side to Fairman. Fairman, that clanked off the front, the back of the rim, and then Pioneer with the rebound. That's a good job by Sampson to clear that rebound. Lee has it, gets it to Sampson, and right at the free throw line, Sampson moves it back on the far side to Schaafsma, and then put up back to Sampson. Sampson puts it in for a 2, and that makes it 17 for Saline, 14 for Pioneer. Is now bringing it up, LaRusso for Saline. Giving Caldwell a break. Now dishes it off to Caldwell, top of the key. Caldwell into the paint. Trying to drive right into Sampson. So that will be a foul on Sampson. That will be his first. So at the line, shooting 2 is Caldwell. Caldwell puts it up. Rattles front, back, and down. That makes it 18-14, Saline lead. One more basket coming, or one more attempt coming for Caldwell. As he bends at the knees, puts it up, puts it in. 5:03 left to go. It's Saline 19, Pioneer 14. Lee brings it up. Over center for Pioneer. Lee moves it to Burns, then gets it back. Lee, top of the key, bounces over. That knocked away by Fairman. Fairman loses the dribble, and ended up carrying it. That will be a turnover back to Pioneer. 4:48 left to go. 5-point lead for Saline as Lee gets the ball. Bringing up Shafsma to his left. Moves it to Burns on the far wing. Burns trying to avoid heavy pressure. Gets it to Sampson. Sampson working around the free throw line. Sampson back to Burns on the far wing. Burns with a three-pointer. That one just a little strong. Grabbed by Fairman. Fairman fires that ahead to LaRusso. LaRusso puts it into the near corner to Pickett. Pickett takes a 18-foot shot. That knocked down as I believe it was blocked by Turman. Over to Lee, and then a foul called on Pickett. That will be his second. 6 fouls on Pioneer. 3 for Saline. Shaftsma to inbound right in front of us. Gets it to Lee. Lee dribbling in the backcourt. Moves to the far wing. Gets it underneath to Sampson. Sampson turns around. Takes a shot. Hit the rim, the front, then pulled off. Coming the other direction. Here comes Saline with it as Caldwell brings it over center court down the far sideline. Gets it to Burns on the near wing. Burns trying to fire his way in. Now moves it. Dribbling. Putting on the far side, Ferrari dishing it to Caldwell. He puts it up. That spins off the rim and headed the other direction. Here comes Pioneer and Lee. The ball trying to bounce away from Shaftsma. He gets it back, but ends up landing right on top of LaRusso. That'll be a Saline foul. That'll be foul on LaRusso, his first. Shaftsma inbounds over to Lee. Lee heads over center court. Lee pointing out where he wants to go for a screen, then comes over. Lee bounces it underneath. That put up by Klein. Klein puts it in. That makes it 19 for Saline, 16 for Pioneer. 3:30 left to go in the first half. As Caldwell brings it up, Lee watches him. Bounces it over to Ferrari. Ferrari over, hands it off to Pickett on the far wing. Bounces again to Ferrari. Ferrari gets it over to Fairman. Fairman, top of the key, puts up a three-pointer. That off the front of the rim, and Klein with the rebound. Here comes Lee for Pioneer. That fed quickly up ahead to Shaftsma. Back to Lee on the far wing. Lee trying to get into the paint. Gets it over to Sampson. That stripped as he went to go up, but a whistle blown. Looking to see if I see a foul called there. This Pioneer will inbound. Looks like maybe it was just a step out of bounds. That over to Shaftsma. Shaftsma moves over to Lee on the far wing. Lee in that far corner. Lee working his way down the baseline. Puts it up. That off the side of the rim. Collected. Rebound by Caldwell. Caldwell over center for Saline. Caldwell dribbles to his right, then his left. Caldwell bounces it over to Ferrari. Ferrari, far side, bounce pass, trying to get it inside to Fairman. That off of his hands, out of bounds. That'll go over to Pioneer. 19-16 is the lead for Saline. 3-point lead for Saline with 2:32 left to go in the first half as Burns has the ball for Pioneer. He heads up court. Burns over center. Pickett watching him. Burns dribbles. Straight up on the arc. Now move to Klein on the near corner. That put up by Shaftsma. Bounced off the back of the rim. Would not fall. Gathered in. And here comes Saline. The Hornets bring it up. As that's Caldwell. Caldwell bounces it over to Ferrari. Ferrari on that far wing. Moving it over to Pickett. But there's a whistle. That's going to go over to Pioneer. As I think someone stepped out of bounds on that far sideline. 2:01 left to go here in the first half. 3-point lead by Saline as Burns brings it up court with Pickett right in front of him. Burns moves it over on the near side over to Sanook Delfalo. That put up by Sampson off the side of the rim, bounces high. Gathered in by Fairman. Fairman moves it over to Caldwell. Caldwell bringing it up court for Saline. 3-point lead, 1:33 left to go here in the first half. Ferrari has it right at the arc. Moves it back to Caldwell, working his way up the paint. Puts it off the glass. Not hard enough. Gathered in by Burns. Burns quickly up. As that's pulled in by Sanook DeFallo. That up. That in. And it's a 1-point lead by Saline. Pioneer chipped away at it. Trying to make it very close. 1 minute, 5 seconds left to go. Saline ball here in the first half. Ferrari has it, top of the key. Ferrari moves it over to Caldwell. Caldwell back to Ferrari on the near wing. Ferrari for a three. That bounces front, back, and then down as that stretches the lead back out to 4, 22-18. As Burns has it for Pioneer. 45 seconds left in the half. Burns has Pickett watching him. Gets a good screen by Klein. Burns moves it over on the near side. That to Sanook Delfalo. Sanook Delfalo. Moves it over to Burns on the far wing. Now over to Sampson. Sampson underneath to Klein. Klein going up. He's bumped and fouled. So he'll be shooting 2 with 27.1 seconds left to go. An opportunity to cut the lead to 2. As T-Bull gets the foul, that makes it 5 fouls on Saline, 6 on Pioneer. As Klein toes the line, puts it up, puts it in. One more shot coming, and Klein looking to get it down to a 2-point lead, chipping away at the Saline lead. As Condi comes in for Pioneer as well as Turman. Klein at the line. Shafsma out there as well. And Burns for Pioneer. Fairman to inbound, baseline left. Turman watching him. That goes to Caldwell. Back to Fairman. Pioneer. Full court pressure. Pickett moves it over to Ferrari. Ferrari right at center court. Ferrari comes up. 19 seconds left to go. As that's brought in, Caldwell long cross court pass. There's a shot by Pickett. That off the rim and out of bounds. That will be Pioneer ball. Trying to cut into the 2-point Saline lead with 10 seconds left. Pioneer with an opportunity to tie the game or take the lead right before halftime as Klein inbounds it to Burns. Burns heads up court trying to get around Pickett. Burns over center. Now Fairman providing pressure. 1 second left. Burns puts it up and puts it in! Burns! I believe that was a 2-pointer. No, it was a 3! Burns with a 3-pointer makes it a Pioneer lead, 23-22, right at halftime. So fantastic job by Burns to nail that. Just a little bit of pressure going at that point in time. Well, we'll do this. We'll take a moment. We'll play a little a push on, keep you fired up during halftime, and then we will have a few messages from the MHSAA. You're listening to Pioneer Men's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting.
You're hearing it. The message is getting through to parents. Multi-sport athletes get injured less. Multi-sport athletes become better in their primary sport in the long run. And even though it's not why we play our games, multi-sport athletes are now getting recruited more than specialized athletes. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
You have to wonder sometimes how folks in the stands, so far removed from the action and who have probably never had any training, actually think they can see the play and apply the rules better than the officials assigned to a game. If you're that good, please register immediately at MHSAA.com. We need more officials on the playing surface and fewer in the stands. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Think of a high school game as a 4-lane highway. Coaches, players, officials, and spectators, each with their own lane. Sportsmanship depends on everyone not crossing over the line. Fans keep it between the lines when they cheer positively for their team. So don't cause an accident. Stay in your lane and let the coaches, players, and officials do their jobs. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. The Michigan Power Ratings will be used this year in soccer, basketball, and boys lacrosse to seed the district tournament in those sports, and you can follow along. Visit your school's page on the MHSAA website to see how your team is faring, and you can look at statewide lists as well. And if you see your team is missing a score, submit it. Learn more about the Michigan Power Rankings at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Have we gotten to the point where at some high school game that an official has finally had enough from coaches, players, and adults, pulls off the whistle, and offers it to you? Let's hope not. There's no way you could do a better job. It's on everyone to promote good sportsmanship. So before you blurt something out about that next close call, consider this. Without the officials, nobody wins. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Maybe you've seen the videos of the specialized sports parent support group, or the kid holding a press conference to announce his retirement from sports. The problem is, they'd be really funny if there wasn't a lot of truth there. Multi-sport participation provides a healthier experience and lifestyle for kids and families. Multi-sport participation is cross-training for life. Learn more at the MHSAA website. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
As we are at halftime, and it is a 23-22 lead by Pioneer as Burns hit a huge three-pointer with time expiring going into half. Did a little search on the MHSAA website, and for some reason I could not come up with any Southeastern Conference games. Going to try and do a scoreboard report, but there wasn't anything out there, so I will do my best to endeavor to see if I can find a different location to pull some of that information up. But again, taking a look, it's early in the season, so everything's a jumble in the SEC. But we know that Skyline and Lincoln up at the top right now, 2-0. Pioneer trying to get to 2-1. They are in conference. They are 1-2 overall, so trying to get back to 500 here. And Saline trying to push it. They are 2-1, so they want to take a big step forward. The unbeatens so far, at least according to the SEC standings, Skyline, Lincoln, and Huron with a single game but no losses. So you hear enough of me. I'll play a little bit music, but 3:40 left to go in this halftime, and we will be back with second half action. You're listening to Pioneer Men's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. We are live from the main gym at Pioneer. Pioneer with the 23-22 point lead. We want to thank the wonderful cheerleaders over to our right, making sure that as much as we really wish all of you could be here, obviously with the things are the way they are at this moment, you can't be. We so look forward to when you all can be back here, but the cheerleaders providing some atmosphere here. As Ferrari inbounds it, and pulled ahead by Boetker. Boetker dribbles to his right. Boetker moves it over to Fairman. Fairman moves it underneath. Or excuse me, that was Sampson. Sampson puts it up. Here, coming up the other direction, is Caldwell. Caldwell over center. Caldwell brings it up. Caldwell being watched by Lee. Caldwell, Lee watching him. Now dribbling to the right, Ferrari. Ferrari moves it, tipped by Burns, out of bounds. That'll stay Saline ball as Thibault inbounding it. As Schafsma trying to make it tough for him to inbound. That moved over on the far wing, dribbling up the baseline. Back to Pickett on the near wing. Pickett puts it up, puts it in. That's a three-pointer. As we are tied 25 apiece. Lee for Pioneer with it. Top of the key. Lee moves to his right. Lee gets it on the near side. Over to Fuchera. Fuchera back to Lee. Lee dribbles to his left. Lee, top of the key. Now flips it over to Burns. Burns on the far wing, outside the arc. Burns dribbles back, trying to get a little bit of room to work. Now bounce passes it over to Sampson. Sampson into the lane, spins it, puts it up. That just a little too far to the right. Coming up the other direction is Fairman. Fairman for Saline, brings it up. Fairman dribbles to the left and puts it into the far corner. That's Pickett with the three. That goes in. And Saline now with the three-point lead. 28-25, 5:22 left to go as Lee has it. Top of the key, Lee dribbles to his right into the paint, puts it off the glass, and that just off the front of the rim. Here comes Saline with it. As Pickett pulls it over center. Moving that over to Thibault. Underneath, trying to put it up to Fairman. Fairman puts it up and in. That makes it 30 for Saline, 25 for Pioneer. Lee quickly pushes it up ahead for Pioneer. Into the far corner, Fuchera. Fuchera gets it over to Schafsma. Schafsma moves it back to Lee, top of the key. Now over to Burns. Burns for a three-pointer. Burns that off of the rim. And good rebound by Fuchera, who puts it right back in. 3-point lead for Saline. Caldwell brings it up for the Saline, moves it over to Pickett. Pickett brings it over center. Being watched by Fuchera. Now move that over to Ferrari. Sampson guarding Ferrari. Ferrari hands it off. Coming in is Caldwell. Caldwell fires it over to Fairman. Fairman, that off the rim on a three-pointer. Sampson with the rebound. Lee quickly up ahead to Fuchera. Fuchera in along the baseline, trying to put that up with Schafsma. Over to Sampson. Sampson's fouled. You can see he was going up for the shot. He'll shoot two, as that looks like that was on Thibault. Thibault, his second. First foul of the half for Saline. Sampson shooting two. Sampson dribbles it. Bends at the knee. Puts it up. Puts it in. Only net on that one. That makes it a 2-point Saline lead. Sampson trying to cut it back to a single-point lead. Sampson again dribbles it, eyes the basket, puts it up. Bounces off the back of the rim. Battle for it, out of bounds. That is going to go Saline's way. 2-point lead for Saline, 30-28. As that inbounded, Caldwell brings it up. Caldwell comes over in along the near sideline. Caldwell dribbles to his right. Caldwell gets a screen, puts it up off the glass, and rolls it in off the fingertips. That makes it 32-28 for Saline. Lee brings it up for Pioneer. Lee dribbles to his right. Lee and moves it to Fuchera. Fuchera Trying to get it underneath to Sampson. Sampson over to a cutting Shaftsma. That one just a little strong. Pulled away by Saline. Coming down the other side is Fairman. Fairman coming down the far sideline. Hands it off to Caldwell. Caldwell cross court. Now dribbles to his left. Puts it into the near corner. T-Bowl puts it back. Ferrari into the paint. And that's stolen away by Pioneer. Shaftsma with it. Shaftsma hands it off to Lee. Now into the far corner. Shaftsma goes down the baseline. Gets it over to Sampson. Sampson kicks it back. There's Fushera. That off the rim. Pulled down by Fairman. Here comes Saline the other way. Saline with the 4-point lead. Fairman coming over center court down the far sideline. Fairman dribbles into the paint. Dishes off underneath. Now into the corner for Caldwell for 3. He puts it in. That makes it 35 for Saline. 28 for Pioneer. 3:42 left to go. Timeout called by Pioneer as Saline has stretched the lead to 7. We'll play a little push on, get you fired up, get the team fired up, get everyone fired up here as you're listening to Pioneer Varsity Basketball. As we are here in the third quarter, it is a 7-point lead by Saline. 3:42 left to go here in the third. Pioneer called the timeout, trying to get everything set and stop a run by Saline. Fushera to inbound, right in front of us on the near baseline, moves it over to Lee. Lee comes along the far sideline. Now gets a screen by Turman. Lee trying to get it underneath to Sampson. Sampson puts it up, contact made, and the basket. As he was nicked on the arm, put it in. That'll be the second foul for Saline in this half. None for Pioneer so far. Sampson looking for the 3-point play, puts it in. That makes it a 4-point lead by Saline. Here comes Caldwell with it. Caldwell over center. Caldwell being watched by Sanuk DeFallo. Underneath, trying to put that up off the glass. Little too strong for Coke. Here comes Pioneer. Lee over center court. Lee dribbles to his right. Lee over to Fushera on the near wing. Gets it back to Sanuk DeFallo. Back underneath to Sampson. Sampson. Cross-court pass over to Sanuk DeFallo. Now over to Fushera. Fushera back to Sanuk DeFallo on the far wing, trying to get it underneath. There comes Turman. He gets knocked from behind. As he was going up. And they got the ball as well as a piece of Turman, so he'll go to the line. He has an opportunity to cut the Saline lead to 2. 2:51 left to go here in the third. Turman puts it up. Bounces front back off the glass. Would not fall for him. He gets another one at the line. Coming in for Saline is LaRusso. Turman puts it up, puts it in. 3-point lead for Saline. Caldwell coming up on the near side of the court. Caldwell over center. Sanuk DeFallo watching him. That moved over. Grabbed for a brief moment. LaRusso lost it. Now there's a battle on the floor with it. Pulled ahead. Sanuk DeFallo gets it over to Fushera. Fushera into the paint. Makes a nifty move off the glass and puts it in. Well avoiding a streaking defender by Saline. It's a 1-point game. Saline 35. Pioneer 34. Pickett has it. Pickett being watched by Fushera. Now Caldwell working his way around the arc. Caldwell kicks it back on the near wing. That's sent ahead Spinning with it is LaRusso. LaRusso skies it over to Pickett. Boucher looking to try and get his hands on that basketball. Now Caldwell into the paint. That was tipped and comes back into the corner. Spinning with it, loose ball pulled away by Sanuk DeFallo. Here comes Lee down the court for Pioneer. Lee trying to get into the paint. Can't quite make the basket fall, but he was fouled. That affected the shot as it was spinning and couldn't just get up above the rim. That will be Lee at the line shooting 2. He has an opportunity to take the lead if he can hit both. 1 minute, 50 seconds left to go. 4 fouls by Saline in this second half. None thus far by Pioneer. Rattles around and down for Lee. That makes it 35 apiece. Lee toes the line, eyes the basket, puts it up, puts it in. Pioneer with a 1-point lead. 1 minute, 50 seconds left to go in the third. Caldwell bringing the ball up court for Saline. Sanuk DeFallo watching him. Bounce pass over to Ferrari. Ferrari working his way around. Pickett has it on the near wing. Pickett up with the 3. Pickett hits it, swished it in. That makes it a 2-point lead for Saline. Lee brings it up for Pioneer. Dribbles to his right and his left. Lee. Top of the key. Lee over on the near wing over to Sanuk DeFallo. Sanuk DeFallo bounce pass, trying to get it into Sampson. Sampson double teams back to Sanuk DeFallo. Back to Sampson in the near corner. Sampson moves it out. Top of the key to Burns. Underneath to Turman. Turman trying to go up. He's sandwiched. And that will be a foul. That makes it 5 fouls as that one was on Ferrari. Turman will shoot 2, has the opportunity to tie it back up in a tight game between these two rivals. Turman rattles it front, back, then down. One more. Turman dribbles it, eyes it, puts it up, and that rims off. Coming up the other direction, here comes Love with it for Saline. Love dribbling right at the blockades, pivots, now gets it back over to Ferrari. Ferrari, that off of Sampson, but Pickett gets it. Pickett comes top of the key, moves it over to Love. Love coming down baseline and blocked by Sampson as he skied up. Knocked that one away, whistle blown. Sampson gets the foul. A definitive block as Love will go to the line, looking to extend the lead. First one up and in. 2-point lead now for Saline, 39-37. 47 seconds left to go here in the third. Love with it back up and puts it in. 3-point lead now for Saline. Turman inbounds it to Burns. Burns over half court for Pioneer. Burns working against Love. Burns picked up the dribble, trying to move it over to Turman. That's stolen away. Here comes Saline. 35 seconds left to go. Pickett has it. Saline with the 3-point lead. That moved over to Caldwell. Caldwell has Sanuk DeFallo watching him. As Caldwell now on the far wing, dribbles it underneath. Turman trying to knock that away from Ferrari. He gets it back as cutting in. Back fed to Ferrari. That off the bottom of the basket. Out of bounds it went. As Koch tried to feed it into Ferrari. That is Saline ball. As Caldwell will trigger it underneath the basket. Quick shot. That pulled down by Koch. Koch trying to put it up. He spins it up and in. 8 seconds left to go here. 42 for Saline. 37 for Pioneer. The ball up. That just short. 1 second left to go. Quickly moved it to Love. That basket. That shot after the whistle. So at the end of 3 It is Saline 42, Pioneer 37, so 5-point lead by Saline heading into the fourth. Pioneer had a 1-point lead going into the half, but Saline has been very good at quickly turning the tide when Pioneer has captured the lead. Pioneer's shown good ability to fight back and get it close or even. They just need to take it and go on a run once they get to that point, or find a way to lock down Saline to keep that lead. It's 8 minutes up on the clock, getting ready here for the fourth quarter. Again, Public Address Announcer Michael thanking the cheerleaders over to our right, doing a fantastic job, keeping those in the building all pumped up. As we're getting right back to come back for the fourth quarter. Saline's largest lead, if I do my math right, was 8. At this point, it is a 5-point lead. Pickett to inbound it right in front of us. Fischera watching him. Pickett to inbound. Pickett puts it deep in the backcourt. That picked up by Love. Love bringing it up court, being watched by Lee. Moved over to Pickett on the near wing. Pickett. Bounce pass. That over to Ferrari. Ferrari gets it underneath the baseline. That's stolen away. Here comes Pioneer. Sanuk to foul. Got his hands on it. Lee for Pioneer comes over center court. Lee slows things up, calling out the play. Lee dribbling to his right, looking for a screen. Lee moves it over and just a little hot pass trying to get it to Fischera. That'll go out of bounds. Saline ball. Saline with the 5-point lead. 7:34 left to go. As Pickett's going to inbound it, baseline right over to Love. Love to bring it up for Saline. Love dribbles to his left, now comes down the near sideline, working against the Nook DeFallo. Love stops, spins right at the free throw line, gets it over to Koch. Koch trying to work his way into the paint, over to Pickett. Pickett to the free throw line, steps back, top of the key, now moves it over to Love. Love trying to work his way into the paint. Love moves it down to Koch. Koch off of the glass, puts it in. That will be 44 for Saline, 37 for Pioneer. As Lee now for Pioneer gets into the paint, dishes it off for a 3. Fischera, and that off the rim would not fall. That corralled by Koch. Here comes Saline up over center. Love has it. Love comes from the far side to the near side, now working his way in along the near wing, trying to put it up. And they'll say that Sanuk DeFallo got some body on him. And Love will go to the line. That is 5 fouls on Saline, 2 for Pioneer. Love puts it up, puts it in, rattled down. That makes it an 8-point lead, chance to make it a 9-point lead here for Love. 6:44 left to go here in the fourth. That rolls around the rim and down. As quickly inbounded, here comes Lee. Lee calling out signals, gets over center. Love watching Lee. Lee dribbles to his right, gets a screen by Turman. Lee trying to get it underneath the Sampson. That ball tip, battle for it, and that should be a jump ball, possession arrow. Should point towards Pioneer. So Pioneer to inbound. Pioneer will call a timeout, and we'll take it with them. We'll play a little push on. Pioneer down by 9 points and needing to get something going here. You're listening to Pioneer Men's Varsity Basketball, brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. We have 6 minutes, 29 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter, as it is Saline with the 46-37 point lead by Pioneer. Pioneer will trigger inbound underneath their own basket, baseline right. 5 fouls for Saline in this half, 2 for Pioneer. Koch is going to guard the inbound. Lee on the baseline looking to inbound. Conde out there for Pioneer. That into Fischera. Fischera quickly takes the shot and nails it long. 17-foot two-pointer. That brings it to 7 points as Saline inbounds to Pickett. Pickett gets it over to Fairman. Fairman gets it back to Pickett in along the near base or in along the near sideline. Pioneer providing full court pressure. Pickett comes in on the near wing. Pickett gets it over to Ferrari. Now Koch has it back. Gets it over to Love. Love in the backcourt being watched by Fischera. Love on the far wing, loses his dribble, gets it back, skies it all the way over to Koch. Koch for 3. That off the back of the rim. Rebounded, though, and put up by Ferrari. And Turman grabs it before it went out of bounds. Here comes Pioneer. Lee coming down the far sideline. Whistle. There was some contact happening. Looks like Love picks up the foul. Five minutes, 40 seconds left to go. 7 point lead by Saline. Pioneer with the ball. Turman inbound right in front of his own bench. Bounces it over to Lee. Lee dribbling along that far sideline. Gets a screen from Turman. Lee picks up the dribble. Gets it into the near corner for Conde. Back over to Sampson. Sampson just outside the arc, or just outside the paint. Puts it up to Fischera. That bounces around. Would not fall, but a foul called. So it's going to be Saline ball. 5:24 left to go here in the fourth. Fairman to inbound. Turman trying to make it difficult. Gets it over to Love. Back to Fairman. Fairman skies it over. Bringing it up is Caldwell. Caldwell to Love. Love into the paint. That off the bottom of the rim. Lee had it for a moment. Knocked away by Love. So foul on Fischera. Or excuse me, Lee shooting. That was a foul on Pickett. Or Love. There you go. I swear he put two finger ones up, but I'm probably blind. So that should be Love's second foul. Down to a 6-point lead as Lee hits the first. He has another one coming. 46-40, the lead for Saline. Lee toes up the line. Eyes the basket. Puts it up, puts it in. Only tickles Twine. As Fairman to inbound. 5-point lead for Saline. Just over 5 minutes left to go here in the fourth. Pioneer continues the full court pressure as Love gets it over center court. Love double team. Moves it over, coming in, Fairman. Fairman dishes it into the far corner, now back on the far wing. Back into the far corner for Ferrari. Ferrari all the way to Pickett for 3. Pickett, that rims off. Trying to get it on the far side is Conde. Out of bounds, that'll go Pioneer's way. Saline with the 5-point lead. Pioneer with the ball as Turman inbounds it to Lee. Here comes Lee for Pioneer. Lee gets it over center. Lee moves it over to Fischera, in along the far sideline. Fischera working against Love, gets it over to Sampson, trying to get it back. The ball bounces around, now tipped away. Trying to save it was Fairman. That went out of bounds. That will go right back to Pioneer with 4:36 left to go here in the fourth. 5-point lead by Saline as Lee controls the ball in the backcourt, moves it over to Fischera on the far wing. Fischera trying to get it to the free throw line, over to Sampson. Sampson with a lot of pressure, puts it up. And they're going to call a charge as Sampson skied around 3 players. And they're going to call a charge on Sampson. That will give Saline the ball. as Saline to inbound. Turman trying to watch the inbound. That pulled up by Ferrari. Ferrari skies it ahead. Here comes Caldwell. Caldwell into the paint. Caldwell kicks it over to Fairman into the air corner. That off the rim. Rebounded by Love. Love steps back into the backfield. That intercepted by Lee. Lee heading into the paint. Lee makes a move and bodied by Love. That'll put Lee to the line. They're going to give that foul to LaRusso. Lee shooting 2 with a chance to get it to 3. Hits the first one. Saline's lead down to 4. One more coming for Lee. Koch comes in for Saline. Lee toes it up. Eyes the basket. Dribbles once more. Puts it up. Puts it in. Hit the back of the rim and down. 3-point lead. 46-43 for Saline. Turman guarding the inbound. That over to Caldwell. He's double teamed. Tip up. Intercepted by Fushera as Lee got a hand on it. That put up by Turman. Contact, no call. Fairman has it underneath. Now they call. As Fairman wants an explanation. That's going to be Pioneer's ball. As it looked like he traveled, but that's not what they called it. He was slipping around. But timeout by Saline as it's 3:58 left to go here in the fourth. 3-point lead. Pioneer has whittled it down. They have the ball trying to get it to either tied or to a single-point lead by Saline. How about a quick message from the MHSAA?
Health concerns in high school sports go beyond physical injuries. The mental well-being of our young people is a hotter topic than ever before. The Michigan High School Athletic Association website has resources to help adults and students recognize potential problems and deal with them in a positive way. You can learn more about these mental health resources on the Health and Safety page of the MHSAA website. A message from the MHSAA promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
3 minutes, 58 seconds left to go here in the fourth. 3-point lead by Saline. Pioneer to inbound underneath their own basket. Lee has Love watching him. As that ball inbounded, Fushera has it in the far corner. Fushera bounces underneath to Sampson. Sampson puts it up just a little hard off the back of the rim. That rebounded and sent ahead as that was trying to put it up was Pickett. Love has it. Love moves it over to Caldwell. Caldwell in the backfield. Caldwell being watched by Conde moves it over to Koch. Koch on the near wing. Koch fires it over on the far wing to Love. Love into the far corner for Ferrari. Ferrari comes on the far wing over to Koch. Koch in, coming down baseline is Love. Love makes a move, puts it up off the glass, would not fall. Now a shot from the far corner. That a little strong coming off the rim. Koch rebounds it though. Second chance giving Pioneer fits on this possession. 2 offensive rebounds by Saline as they move it over to Love on the far wing. 3 minutes and counting. That move to Koch. Koch has Sampson watching him. Koch moves it over to Ferrari on the near wing. Turman on top of Ferrari. Ferrari dribbling to his left, trying to get it to Love. Love trying to kick, trying to get in, quickly cut off. But a whistle called. That one's going to be on Lee. That's going to be his second foul. 9 for Saline, 5 for Pioneer. 2 minutes, 50 seconds left to go. As Pickett has it on the near corner. Pickett making his way onto the near wing. Watching him, Fushera. Hand off, Ferrari, top of the key. Ferrari now moves it over into the far corner for Koch. Caldwell gets it back. Caldwell spinning, moving it back to Love on that far wing. being watched by Lee. That back to Ferrari. Ferrari thought about three, trying to get it underneath the Love. Love kicks it back to Koch. Koch over to Ferrari, moves it over, and that shot by Pickett off the rim, skying for it. That grab by Turman. Turman hands it over to Lee. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left to go. 3-point lead by Saline. Fashera quickly gets it over to Conde. Conde, that one just off the mark. Saving it, Sampson, but picking it up, Pickett. Pickett heading the other direction for Saline. 3-point lead by Saline. Now Caldwell has it on the near baseline, moves it over into the near corner to Love, coming down the baseline. That too hard off the glass. Love gets his own rebound. That off the rim. Gathering it in is Sampson. Sampson moves it over to Lee. Here comes Pioneer. 1 minute, 50 seconds left to go. We have a timeout. How about a little push on? It's Pioneer trying to cut and gain the lead. Time starting to dwindle as 1 minute, 50 seconds left to go. How about some push on? Well, amazingly enough, we only have a single game that we're broadcasting tomorrow. That's going to be the Pioneer Women's Hockey from Vets Ice Arena. We should have the Pioneer Women's Hockey game as well on Thursday. That's going to be from the East Side Ice Arena versus Grosse Pointe South. And then a number of games on Friday, hockey as well as women's basketball here. This men's team will be out at Bedford. We're not able to cover that, unfortunately, but to the best of my knowledge, they are allowing 2 attendees per athlete. So go out and cheer on this team as they try and take on the Kicking Mules on Friday night. Lee has it. Down by 3. Lee coming over onto the near wing. Kicks it into the near corner. Moves it to Sampson. Sampson puts it off the glass. Rattles it in. Didn't even hit the glass. Hit the rim and down. It's a 1-point lead by Saline. 1 minute, 32 seconds left to go as Caldwell has it. Caldwell feeds ahead to Pickett. Pickett over center. Pickett comes top of the key. Now moves it over on the far side over to Fairman. Fairman bounces into the near corner for Ferrari. Ferrari moves it back to Caldwell on the far wing. Caldwell steps back, gets into the far corner. Now moved it to Ferrari. Ferrari over to Pickett on the near wing. Lee watching him. Pickett dribbles to his right, now gets it back to Fairman in the backcourt. 1 minute, 7 seconds left to go. 1-point lead by Saline as Pickett has it, gets top of the key, now moves it over to Koch on the far wing. Turman watching him. Now whistle. And a foul by Turman as no shot clock, so Pioneer had to do something to try and stop Saline. Saline will inbound as that is Pioneer's 6th foul. That all the way back into the backcourt. That off of Caldwell's fingers. He somehow gets it before going out of bounds. Another timeout called by Saline. How about another message from the MHSAA?
Integrity, commitment, love of the game. These traits describe the people high school sporting events can't start without. The officials. They're out there every day giving back to our kids. Let's give them the respect they deserve. Better yet, why don't you become one? Visit the MHSAA website for more information. There's help wanted. Just whistle. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
Well, not too long ago in hockey, it went to overtime between Saline and Pioneer. Pioneer only down a single point, 55.2 seconds left to go. Saline with the ball as they called the timeout. 6 fouls for Pioneer, 9 for Saline. As it's coming down right to the wire, as it normally does between these two talented teams. Last moment adjustments by coach. Getting the proper people set on the court. Turman to guard the inbound as Ferrari inbounds it, that over to Pickett in along the near boards. Pickett skies it over. Gets it back over to Caldwell, over to Pickett. Pickett being guarded by Turman. Pickett dribbles to his right, trips over Turman, whistle blown. And foul's going to go on Turman. That'll be 7 fouls, so Saline to the line. In to shoot it is Pickett. Pickett puts the first one up, puts it in. He'll get another shot at it. That makes it a 2-point lead, 47-45. Pickett can make it a 3-point lead here with 43.2 seconds left to go. That off of the rim, but collected. Rebound by Saline. Caldwell has it over to Pickett on the near wing. As Ferrari, being watched by Fuchera, hands it off to Caldwell. Caldwell dribbling around the arc, double team. Caldwell looking for a place to go with it. And timeout called as Saline saw their player without a lot of room to go. So that's a 2-point lead as the rebound skied off of the back of the arc and just got a little further away than the Pioneer players thought it was. Giving Saline the rebound. Good job to trap in the corner here by Pioneer. But Saline wisely taking a timeout. Both teams in the bonus now. 9 fouls on by Saline, 7 by Pioneer. So both teams shooting free throws from here on out. Saline with the ball. So Pioneer needs to find some way to maybe steal this inbound pass. If you have to foul and put him on the line, if you know someone who doesn't have the highest free throw attempt, because if they go to the line, they can make it a 2-possession game. Well, barring a 3-pointer and a foul on it. Coming down right to the wire. Neither of these two teams want to give up an inch. As Ferrari will inbound on the near baseline. Just to the left of us, Turman watching him on the inbound, trying to make it difficult to get it inbounded. Turman trying to watch it. That inbounded. Now coming in is Fairman. Fairman has it on the far side, moves it over to Ferrari. Ferrari back over to Caldwell. Fouled by Pioneer as Sanook. As that was Sanook DeFallo on the foul. That will put... that's going to put Caldwell on the line. He has an opportunity if he hits them both to make it a 4-point lead with 23 seconds left to go. First one goes in. 3-point lead, 48-45. One more coming. That goes in. 4-point lead. Pioneer with 23 seconds left. Lee with it. Pioneer wants a timeout to try and draw something up. We'll take it with them. How about one more time for push on, trying to get things going Pioneer's way as they're down by 4. You're listening to Pioneer Varsity Basketball. Pioneer Men's Varsity Basketball brought to you by Arbor Broadcasting. As the cheerleader is stomping on the stance, all right, making a really well-timed percussive beat and chants over there, doing a fantastic job. They're trying to get the Pioneer team fired up. You're trying at home, hollering and hooting, trying to get this team fired up and hoping for a little bit of a miracle here. 23 seconds left to go. Pioneer needs to get a basket and a stop, or somehow get fouled on a 3-pointer as Lee comes over the line, coming down the far sideline. Lee gets a good screen by Turman. Lee on the near wing, gets it over into the near corner. Bad shot by Sanook DeFallo. And it was short, picked up by Fuchera. As that is going to be a jump ball, and that will go Saline's way. That's going to make it real tough on Pioneer now. 9.3 seconds left to go. The only hope at this point is to steal the inbound pass, but Pioneer's going to get it everything they can. No quit in this team. As Saline looking to inbound. Close to 5 seconds, but they got it inbounded. Now moved it over on the near side to Caldwell. Caldwell fouled with 4.3 seconds left to go. Well, that will make it all but academic. The Pioneer's going to play it out with a full maximum effort. As Caldwell. Turman on that foul. That makes that his third foul if I'm counting right. It's up and off. Rebounded by Pioneer. That's sent ahead. And that is the end of the game. So Pioneer got the ball off of the rebound, but unable to quickly convert as there was only 4.3 seconds left to go. This team will be back in action at Bedford. The JV team will be in action again there as well. So that should be freshman, JV, and varsity on Friday. Excellent effort by Pioneer. Saline gets the 4-point win. Thank you so much for cheering on this team and supporting them wherever you are at. Again, we will not have a broadcast of the Bedford game because we just don't have the equipment. But please, if you can, again, best of my knowledge, they are allowing 2 attendees per athlete. So hopefully we can get a wonderful Pioneer crowd over there cheering on the team at Bedford. We will be back tomorrow for Pioneer women's ice hockey action from Veterans Memorial Ice Arena. For my cameraman, James Wiseman, my name is Mark Wiseman. Also, we want to thank Larry Lage and Gary, and I'm blanking on Gary's last name. Please forgive me, Gary, but they did a fantastic job for the play-by-play for the freshman game, and we are very, very grateful for their assistance. So, thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.